Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of English podcast session. I'm John.
And I'm Amelia. In today's episode, we're diving into a topic that affects pretty much everyone these days, social media and how it impacts our spending habits.
That's right, Amelia. Social media isn't just about connecting with friends or seeing funny videos anymore. It has become a huge influence on our purchasing decisions, and today we're going to explore just how much it affects what we buy.
Exactly. From targeted ads to influencers showing off the latest trends, social media is everywhere. But does it make us spend more? And if so, how do we control it?
Alright, so let's start with the basics. Social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok have integrated shopping features where users can buy products directly from their feeds. Did you know that this convenience is part of what makes social media so addictive?
Definitely. And it's not just about shopping on these platforms. We see influencers posting sponsored content or showing off the latest gadgets, fashion trends, or even travel destinations. This creates what we call social pressure to keep up with trends.
I think a lot of us have been there scrolling through Instagram and suddenly wanting something we didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. That's the power of impulse buying. Social media taps into that feeling of wanting to belong, to have what everyone else has, and it can be hard to resist.
And let's not forget about targeted ads. They track your behavior online and serve you ads that seem like they know exactly what you want. Have you ever bought something because it just popped up on your feed at the right moment?
Oh, all the time. It's like they know me too well. But it raises an important question. Do these platforms make us feel like we need things that we wouldn't have thought about otherwise?
That's the tricky part. While we may think we're making conscious decisions, these ads and influencer posts can nudge us into spending more than we intended.
Now, let's talk about how different age groups are impacted by social media's influence on their spending. Do you think younger people are more likely to be affected by these trends?
I would definitely say so. Younger generations, especially Gen Z and millennials, are spending a lot of time on social media. They're more likely to engage with influencers and ads, and they often have less disposable income than older generations. That can lead to more impulse purchases or even getting into debt to keep up with trends.
That's a really good point. I think older generations like baby boomers and Gen X are a bit more cautious when it comes to spending. They might not be as influenced by social media ads, though they still see them. The difference is they tend to do more research before making a purchase.
Right, and that could be because they've grown up in a time when ads weren't as targeted or as persuasive. I also think they're more likely to focus on the value of a product, rather than just jumping on the latest trend. Let's dive a bit deeper into the psychology behind social media and spending. Social media can create this feeling of urgency, right?
Yes. Think about those limited time offers or flash sales. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, is huge. You see a post saying only 24 hours left, and suddenly you feel like you have to buy something, even if it wasn't on your radar before.
And that urgency often leads to quick decisions that we might regret later. I think this is a big reason why social media can sometimes lead to overspending.
It also taps into something called social comparison. We look at what others have, and if we feel like we're falling behind, it can trigger a desire to buy what they have. That's how social media can make us feel like we need the newest gadgets, clothes, or experiences to keep up.
Yeah, and it's important to note that social media often shows only the best parts of people's lives. We see curated images of luxury and perfection, which can make us feel inadequate and push us to spend money on things we don't need just to feel better.
So, we've talked a lot about how social media influences our spending, but let's end on a positive note. What can we do to avoid falling into the trap of overspending?
Well, one tip is to set a budget for online shopping and stick to it. Social media ads can be tempting, but if you have a set limit, you're less likely to get carried away.
Another strategy is to take a break from social media. If you find yourself constantly scrolling and feeling the urge to buy, it might be helpful to take some time off or unfollow accounts that encourage impulsive buying.
And maybe think before you buy. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this something I planned for? Giving yourself a moment to pause can help you make more thoughtful decisions.
That's really smart. And remember, not everything you see on social media is a must-have. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to live outside the trends.
All right, Amelia, this has been a really eye-opening discussion. We've learned that social media has a massive influence on our spending habits, but we also have the power to take control.
That's right. Whether it's through impulse buying or targeted ads, we can all be more mindful of how social media affects our finances. Before we wrap up, let me tell you a quick story. Imagine you're scrolling through your social media feed when you see an ad for a brand new phone. It's sleek, shiny, and has all the latest features. You've been wanting a new phone, but you weren't planning on buying it just yet. Still, you click the ad, and before you know it, you're checking out and confirming your purchase.
The next day, that same phone is featured in a story by your favorite influencer, and you feel good knowing you're part of the trend.
But here's the catch. Did you really need that phone? Or were you just swept up in the excitement of what you saw online? This story is a perfect example of how social media can influence us to spend without thinking, and why it's so important to stay conscious of these forces when we're online.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of English Podcast Session. We hope you found it helpful.
And don't forget to tune in next time for another interesting topic. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.